What's going on, y'all? I'm back at the house. Went to Hobby Lobby, got a couple of things that I needed to do this project. I got me some poster board. I got this bright orange poster board, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing with it. And I got me a compass. I've been calling this a protractor for a long time because I'm an idiot, but this is a compass. I read so on the package. I'm gonna need that later on in this project. I got me a pair of scissors out here. They're not the good ones, so I won't get in trouble. And I've got my hammers and my bathtub base set up. This is the old base for the bathtub, the original base that went in the tub. And I'm gonna have Wes here put up some pictures on the screen of the tub before I cut the bottom out of it. I didn't get any of that on video. It's been a long time, to be honest with you. But there's some pictures of the tub with the bottom cut out, and you can see the corrosion inside of it. And you can see the bottom messed up. I mean, it was leaking. So this is the old bottom. I've cut it off what didn't break already. And I'm gonna use that as my template to build the new bottom for my tub. And I'm gonna make it out of sheet metal. So this is the beginning of that process. I'm gonna do a little hammering, straightening up the edges. I don't have all my good tools with me. They're at the shop. Let me show you how I'm gonna start this project. I just kind of measured around the base of this tub, and I'm just gonna build a lip around this tub. My plan is to just build a lip that goes all the way around. It curls under on the bottom and lets me build a little bit of underside structure in there. I showed you a while ago what the bottom of this thing was like. It's wood underneath this metal. So I'm just gonna similarly recreate what's here, but I'm gonna build like a cup that this tub sits into, and then I secure it all the way around the edges. That's my plan. The best way to describe it is like a piece of Tupperware fitting into another piece of Tupperware. That's what I'm doing. I'm building that bottom piece of Tupperware that the tub inside is gonna slide down into, and then I'll secure that all the way around. That's my plan. I don't really know what I'm doing. Never done this before, but I'm gonna give it a go, so I'll be back with y'all here in a few minutes. I ended up having to do this a little bit different way than I anticipated, but it's working out the way I planned. So let me show you what I got going on here. So I'm having to do this in small pieces in order to match this angle, but it's coming out. It's giving me all my shape, but that's what I'm doing. So I'm getting the shape I need first out of this paper, and then I'll take the compass I bought and I'll make me a straight line across the top so I know it's flat, and then I'll make me a straight line across the bottom and cut the excess off, and then I'll recreate this piece out of a piece of sheet metal. So I should be able to cut 1 or 2 pieces of sheet metal and not have to figure this out with metal, because metal is going to be a lot more work. So if I have this all figured out shape-wise, then all I have to do is cut it out and then fit it all up that way, clamp it in place, and then I can put my bottom in it. So far, this is my progress. It's a little time consuming, but I'm gonna keep rolling. So I'll be back with y'all in a little while. All right, everybody. I'm back. It's getting cold out here. Show you the progress I've made. It's a slow process doing it the way I'm doing it, but it's working as I planned so far, or it's working as I figured out so far. So check out what I got going on here. I've just made pieces to make this contour fit the contour of this tub. So I've done the hardest parts first, which I always find is the best thing to do, but it's turning out real nice. And so once I finish these straight sections in the middle here, I'm going to cut a slit down the side and pull it off. Well, I won't do that first, that's a lie. So once I get the rest of these center sections on here, then I'm gonna make my marks to get my straight line on there and try to figure out how to get it off there so I can cut it. And then I'm gonna work on building a bottom for it. I'm gonna make a template for the bottom of the tub also. Those are my next steps. We'll work on it from there. All right, everybody, this is gonna be all for this evening. It's cold outside. It's late. I'm tired. And my old lady's back at the house, so we're gonna go inside and chill a little bit. But let me show you what I've got done for this evening. It has turned out nice. So this is basically the orange stuff is what I'm going to build out of metal. And that gives me the shape of the tub that I need with all the right contours. I'm gonna try to make a template for the bottom also. The template for the bottom, I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna have to make it multiple pieces because I need to build the bottom with water draining out of it in mind. So it's gonna need to have a downhill effect, a grade if you say, so that the water runs toward the drain and doesn't pool anywhere in the tub. So I have to take that into consideration when making my template for the bottom. But the first part of this process is done, so I will keep y'all informed on how it's going and see if y'all enjoy it. All right, everybody. It's Saturday here at the shop, and I'm getting back on my bathtub project. It's too cold outside for me to be working on it at home, so I brought it up here. I'm going to try to show you as much of how I'm figuring this out as I go as possible. So my plans today are to get this ring back installed on the base of the old tub. I'm going to try to get it cut flat, top and bottom, get a nice straight line all the way across the top and all the way across the bottom. And I'm going to start working on the shape, a mold for the new shape of the bottom, because I have to think about the water draining. I need to think about support strength-wise for putting this together. Like I said, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do this. I've just been thinking about it in my head quite a bit, and I'm gonna keep moving forward on it, and it's either gonna work or it ain't. First things first, I made these little marks. I don't know if you can see those. I made these little marks on my template in different locations so that I know where it's supposed to line up. I marked it on the inside of this old base. So that'll be my first step, is lining up these marks. So what I'm gonna do to make this stay is I'm gonna take some cardboard and make me some little braces all along this to hold the shape in place. And so, because my plan is to get this stationary on this table and then be able to take this center out, the old tub, and start making my new bottom. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. Got my trusty razor blade. Gonna steal some cardboard off this box right here, and I need some scissors. Got my bathtub form put on here. Let's check this out. So we're back where we need to be. You can see I've made these marks right here. They don't line up perfectly. I'm not really sure what happened with my paper, if it shrunk or something like that. But either or, it's gonna be close to what I need. So now I'm going to take my compass and I'm gonna make some marks around this thing to get it flat. I'll pull it back off, trim the excess so that the top and the bottom are flat, and then put it all back on here and move on to the next step of the process. All right, you can see I've got a line marked across the bottom and the top. It should be flat and square. So I'm gonna pull this off, trim it up, put it all back on, and hopefully it all works out right. And I messed up here, look at here. I'm at 5 1/4 inches on the front side, and I marked with my compass here. And I'm at 5 1/4 everywhere except for my back side, and I didn't think about the angle here taking away from height with my compass. But my bottom's nice and flat. So I'm gonna keep moving forward, and then I can trim the top after the fact. I just needed the bottom to be good and flat. So now I'm gonna come back in and start making side braces to keep this whole thing rigid on this table. That's my plan anyway. I'm just gonna make them out of cardboard and tape them in and just make like an angle gusset, like a brace, to hold this paper straight and flat and keep it in one place so I can pull the inside out of it. Let me show you the progress I've got so far. I have got braces down the sides of this all the way around just to keep some shape, because I'm finna pull this bottom out. And then if you'll look right here, I've made a mark where I want the bottom of the tub to be, and then the rest of this under that is going to be, it's going to be braces to hold the floor. So I'll do cross braces underneath with clearance for plumbing under there, and that'll be what the bottom of the tub connects to, and then the sides will connect to all that. That's the plan. So now we're gonna see if the bottom will come out of here and if it doesn't all just fall apart. So I'm gonna leave y'all on this camera and we can see what happens. I'm gonna start from the back because the front is narrower, so it'll pull to the wider spot, hopefully. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to tape this down a little bit better to the table on the front and back so that it keeps its shape. So I'll come back in just a minute, hang on. All right, we're gonna try again, see if it stays. Here we go. Now you can see there's the old bottom of the tub right there on the floor. And here is my mold for the new bottom. So what I'm going to do now, because this is the way I've figured it out in my head. Let me zoom that back out because they'll be griping at me. Here, what I'm gonna do now, this is how I have come up with the best way of me making this the way I want it. I'm going to fill the bottom of this with this foam and then grind it into shape, sand it into shape, and then that'll be how I make my final template for the bottom of the tub, and how I can use this foam base as a template to make my cross braces and make them all the right height. That's what I've thought of, that's where I'm going, that's the direction I'm heading. So now I'm going to get this all marked off where I want the height of the bottom to be, and start putting some foam in here and see if it doesn't go crazy and I screw up everything. Because I'm worried about this foam sticking to the paper too much, I'm gonna wax the inside of all of this first. I'm just gonna put a coat of this. This is what we have at the shop, it's marine wax. I'm just gonna rub a coat of this on there first and then put my foam in. That way the foam will stick to this wax and not to the paper. That's the theory anyway. It's worked with fiberglass molds before. So we're gonna try it with this foam and see how it does. I don't think I'm gonna put it on the glass. I'm not too worried about it sticking to the glass, and I can always cut the bottom of it off on the glass. But that's my next step before I spray this foam. Just trying to think ahead about anything I could have a problem with. So here we move on to this. Okay, wax is on. Now I'm gonna start spraying this foam in here. I'm gonna try to hold this camera and film while I do this. It's challenging, but we're gonna see. And I got 4 cans of this. Hopefully that'll be enough. We're just gonna start spraying it in there as evenly as possible and hope it works. Here we go. Well, that's the end of that can. It went further than I expected. Let's get us I'm gonna set this down and we'll get us another can and keep rolling. My foam is drying slowly, so I'm gonna go get some food and come back and we'll check this out after I'm back. Check it out, I'll show you what it's looking like right now. It's dry to the touch, but it's still, underneath there is still drying. I put a lot on there, so it's gonna take it some time. But it's like a big belly right now. It's filling up nice. You can see that it has covered my line pretty much everywhere. As it rises, I think it expands an inch, and hopefully it'll just expand up since it's not constricted there instead of trying to expand out. All right, well, I'll catch y'all in a little while. Maybe it'll be dry today, maybe it won't. Either way, I'm glad I got this part done and I can start focusing on the next part of this, is getting this bottom shaped up and making it where water will drain. I'll put the drain hole in this foam and everything, so when I actually make it out of metal, it will all be figured out. There will be no guesswork at that point, hopefully. So y'all keep coming along with us and I'll keep showing you how I do all this madness.